Some people have heard that you're Ghanaian, but that's just it.
My name is Michael Kwame Obeng. Born and raised in Kumasi. I went to Inshesu International School. Kewa Methodist first for first and second grade, and then Inshesu International from third to sixth grade. And then Prempeh College. I did my national service here in Ghana. I taught physics, math, and chemistry. And I'm going to SDA. I'm going to SDA. And then I immigrated to the United States in 1993. I attended college at the University of Texas, Midwestern State University, and the University of Texas Medical Branch, and then Harvard, my fellowship. And I took a job as the youngest chief of plastic surgery at the age of 33 at St. Elizabeth Boardman Health Center with the Mercy Health. And in 2012, I established my own private practice in Beverly Hills. And the rest have been history.
Okay. Now, I know that you've been doing some philanthropic work as well. We get into that. But why plastic surgery?
The ability to mold. You know, the word plastic comes from the Greek word plastikos, meaning to mold. And my fascination with plastic surgery dates back to when I was about 12, 13 years old. When I witnessed the power of plastic surgery on a neighbor who had been burned with acid. A boyfriend / partner had poured acid on her face, and she became a recluse. And when Operation Smile touched her, I saw the beauty once again, the smile. And it's not just about physical beauty. You know, when people have hope, the ability to do surgery that transcends and shines through the body and through the smile. And that's what attracted me to plastic surgery.
I see. I mean, you know, when we hear now about plastic surgery, you are so sure to know what people are thinking about. They're thinking about boobs implants. They're thinking about enhancing your buttocks, getting additional hips, fixing your nose. Is that all that plastic surgery is about? I mean, I know you've talked about the acid situation and molding, but if you can give us a lot more details.
So, as I stated earlier, plastic surgery, it comes from the Greek word plastikos, which is to mold. And when we talk about plastic surgery, of course, the most common person, when they think about plastic surgery, they think about cosmetic surgery. But plastic surgery goes much further deeper than that. And we are what we call the doctor's doctors, the surgeon's surgeon. We take care of anything from dirty wounds, gunshot wounds, pressure ulcers, maxillofacial surgery. Basically, we can operate from head to toe. And actual plastic surgery became very popular after World War II, when we had a lot of reconstruction to do on war victims, people who have been injured during the battle. So plastic surgery goes much further deeper than that. And cosmetic surgery is only a fraction of what we do in plastic surgery.
Okay, but I want us to focus on cosmetic surgery this morning because we have a lot of our viewers wanting to know so many things about cosmetic surgery. So cosmetic surgery includes which ones?
Cosmetic surgery is anything to improve any body part. So we can have cosmetic surgery even of the toes. Okay, we can have cosmetic surgery of the scalp. When people are getting bald, we can do cosmetic surgery to make sure that they have the improvement in density of hair. So anything that can be refined. Okay, but of course, when people think about plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery, in this modern day, they are thinking, most women are thinking, or even most men are thinking about what we call TNA.
What's TNA?
Tits and ass.
Oh.
Okay. Breast, and butts. Those are the most common surgeries. Of course, tummy tuck, liposuction, vaginal tightening, vaginal rejuvenation.
What?
Nasal reshaping.
There's vaginal tightening?
Oh, yes. Everything. Lip reduction, lip augmentation, calf reduction, calf augmentation, just anything that you can think of that can be done. Yesterday, somebody asked me that, can you make me taller? I said, of course. I was just joking.
No,
yes.
But can you?
Yes, I can. I don't do that surgery, but I have colleagues and friends who and do that. I've wrapped my
and
mind
they can make
around
me
it.
taller.
Yeah, you can get about 4 inches. I've seen patients myself who have been made taller, okay, by undergoing limb lengthening, where they lengthen the limb, okay, by putting screws, making incisions through the bone and putting what we call a distractor. It distracts the bone over a period of time. So in about 6 months, okay, they will distract you. In about 6 months, you'll probably get about 4 inches. And they keep their distractor in for another 3 months, and then they remove it. And these people mostly will grow, will get taller. So anything that you can imagine, anything that you can actually visualize, it can be brought to reality.
Would you say that there's a craze for cosmetic surgeries?
Yes, we saw an increase during the pandemic. A lot of people had time to recover, but the trend of plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery on the upswing, has a lot to be credited to the Kardashians. Of course, you're probably much younger. There was a show called Dr. 90210, and this is when I was in training back in 2004. This really popularized plastic surgery. It made the average person know that plastic surgery is not for the rich and famous, and plastic surgery is affordable. Now, plastic surgery dressings, post-surgical dressings have become a badge of honor. Like, look, I can afford plastic surgery. Just like a woman would tote around her Hermes bag, a Louis Vuitton bag, they want to have incisions. They want to be able to brag to their friends that they've had plastic surgery.
I see. When you say that plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery is not just for the rich and famous, what exactly do you mean? Because you talk about the cost.
Yeah, the cost involved. Back in the day, before plastic surgery became on the upswing, became very popular. Oh, thank you. Before plastic surgery became very popular, the average person, thought plastic surgery was too expensive. It's only for the rich and famous, but
isn't it?
It's
expensive?
Affordable. No, you can get plastic surgery anywhere from $5,000 to $100,000. It depends on who you see and where you go. So it's affordable. But before that, people thought, okay, there's no way. It was out of my budget. And of course, the country that we live in, there are companies that finance plastic surgery. So we have the biggest one is, it was a subsidiary of GM. Okay, it's called Care Credit. Care Credit is now through a bank called Synchrony Bank, and Synchrony Bank will finance plastic surgery up to about $50,000. And people are taking loans to have plastic surgery. So
people are taking loans.
Oh yes, it's an investment. You invest in yourself, just like people go to school to get an education, invest in themselves, hoping to get a better job. People are getting plastic surgery. Okay, most waitresses to get better tips. Okay, most people will get plastic surgery to get better jobs. Even men, now we see a lot of an upswing of men having plastic surgery because we live in a society where people are very judgmental. They only do business with people that are attractive. Okay, so most men in the sales industry, they feel like they are competing with the younger men. They want to have a six-pack. They want to have a beautiful smile. They want to have you name it. And they are having plastic surgery to look better so that they can look better in their clothes, and hopefully that will transcend
I find all of this very interesting.
Hopefully that will transcend better
what
business
kind of
deals.
surgeries are men getting aside the six-packs?
Men are getting pec implants.
Pec implants?
Yeah, pec implants.
What are those?
So to have your pec muscles enhanced. Men are getting, of course, liposuction. Their love handles, so their shirts, it doesn't bulge out when they are standing. Of course, your usual Botox, fillers, rhinoplasties. Those are the number one cosmetic procedure requested by men.
Do they get penis enlargement?
Yeah, but that doesn't the average person is not going to see outside. But yes, men do get penis enlargement.
For what? That's a dumb question, but
they want to look good in the bedroom. They want to be able to perform better. They want to be able to impress their partner.
I see.
Yes.
So it's not just with women.
No, not at all.
Interesting. Very interesting. So take us through the procedure, getting a breast implant or a liposuction or adding fat to your ass?
That's a great question. So take us through the procedure. So the procedure starts first with a consultation. Okay, make sure you find a doctor who is board certified, who knows what he or she is doing. So it starts with a consultation. Based on the consultation, then a problem list is generated. Once the problem list is generated, now we go over the procedure or the procedures. We talk about the risk, we talk about the benefits, and we talk about the options, how to achieve that particular goal. Once we do that, and the patient have realistic expectations, or in my world, once the patient can verbalize back to me what we intend to do, and I like the patient likes me, the next thing is we talk about how much it's going to cost. The patient is then transferred to my patient coordinator. My patient coordinator will sit down with the patient. They will go over payment plan or payment options, credit card, cash, check. But check has to clear before the surgery day. And of course, the financing options. So once that's settled, then the patient is scheduled for surgery. Okay, in my office, to get a surgery date, you have to put your deposit of $1,000 down, which is non-refundable. If the surgery is canceled within 30 days. Okay, so I always tell people be careful, but I'm nice enough to extend them a credit for up to about 3 months to use it for something else. So once they can meet their financial obligations, we get a set of labs, that we check to make sure that they are healthy. He checks their kidneys, he checks their liver, their blood. Once everything is fine, then the patient is scheduled for surgery. We do surgery, patient goes home the same day for most of the surgeries that we do. Most patients are reviewed in my office within 72 hours, so most of the time is the next day. In my office, I do surgeries on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so that I can see them on Wednesday and I can see them on Friday. When I was much younger, I would do surgery on Friday, but now I don't feel like going to work on Saturday, so I reserve Friday for paperwork and to see post-ops from Thursday. And most procedures, people are back to work within 2 weeks. You can have a breast augmentation on a Thursday or Friday and go back to work on Monday if you are not lifting weights. If you work like a job like yours, you can go back to work. I have had liposuction before. I had liposuction on a Saturday.
Personally?
Yeah, personally. I had liposuction on a Saturday, and I went to work on Monday. Actually, I went to work that night because I had a VIP patient from Tel Aviv. And it's a guy, it's a friend of mine. I went to go see him that night because I did surgery on him that morning. After I was done with his surgery, I put myself on the table. I had my surgery. I went home, slept, went and saw him that night. And then Monday, I was back to work. Tuesday, I was back on my feet doing surgery. So it's not that complicated.
It's not?
No.
It doesn't have any side effects?
No. I mean, of course, complications can arise. I don't call it side effects. They are called complications. The most common complication after surgery is bleeding. Okay, you can bleed into the body cavity that the surgery was performed. So let's say that you had a breast augmentation. You can bleed into the pocket where that would necessitate another surgery. Okay, sometimes if it's small, your body will absorb it. Seroma, a collection of fluid, is very common after liposuction or when you do BBLs. But to do a BBL, which is, quote unquote Brazilian butt lift, you have to do liposuction first and then transfer the fat to augment the buttocks and shape the buttocks. The number one complication that comes along that is seroma, collection of fluid. It's not uncommon to have fluid that needs to be aspirated, maybe to be removed, and infection. But all these are things that can happen. But of course, it's also very minuscule or very small. We're talking about complication rate of about 1 to 3%. That 3 out of 100 people will have some type of issues, but it's not permanent. It might just delay the healing process, and a return to work might be delayed. And patients are warned, or patients are advised, and they have to understand that all these things can potentially happen. Of course, death. Okay, you've all heard stories about people dying after having surgery, and that's why you have to be very careful. Do your research. make sure that you pick the person that has a great track record.
How many people die? I mean, you talk about 3 out of 300 getting complications after surgery.
3 out of 100,
Death?
yeah.
3 out of 100. Death?
No, not death, yeah.
No, I know. I'm asking if you have the same number or
no,
data for death.
Death rate is very, very low. You know, we have heard stories, you know, knock on wood, you know. I've been in practice 15 years on my own. I've been around plastic surgery for 21 years. And in 21 years, among myself, my bosses, we've never had a patient die having cosmetic surgery. But we've heard all these stories before. So you just have to choose your surgeon and choose your surgeon carefully.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. These cosmetic surgeries, are they reversible? So say I get a breast augmentation, I get a BBL. So wait, let's go through it carefully. I mean, so obviously the breast augmentation is the enlargement of the breast. Or
that's correct.
That's correct.
So for breast purposes, I mean, for breast procedure, we have breast augmentation, breast reduction, a breast lift, augmentation with a lift. So those are some of the things, of course. And we have women who have breast asymmetry. The one breast is larger than the other breast.
Right.
You know,
isn't that normal?
Most women have a slight asymmetry, but when the asymmetry is noticeable, when you have a cup or 2 cup sizes difference.
You know, I grew up thinking that, or believing that as a woman, one breast is supposed to be bigger than the other.
Not all the time, but
Not all the time.
I mean, majority of women have slight asymmetry. When we say slight, you can live with it. It's not noticeable. Even your partner might not notice it. Even the patients themselves do not notice it, okay? There'll be many a times that I have examined patients and I will bring to your attention, did you know, I said, look here, look at your left, look at your right. And it's, oh wow, I've lived here for 33 years on earth and I never noticed that my breasts are different sizes. So those are the slight asymmetries. I can pick those up because it's my job to pick them up, because after augmentation, the asymmetries can be, you know, the intensity, it's more visible. You can see them. So if I don't bring it out, then it's my problem, and I have to deal with them. They will tell you that you just made my breast uneven. But the asymmetry was there before surgery, and if it's that noticeable, it's my job to correct the asymmetry or make sure that I get it close as much as possible.
I see. So now the BBL, you're taking us through that as well.
Sure.
So what is the BBL?
So BBL stands for Brazilian butt lift. I don't know why people think that Brazilians have a better butt, but you know, I jokingly say in my office, you're having an ABL, you're having an African butt lift. But it entails doing liposuction, removing fat from unwanted areas. So most of the time from the love handles, the lumbar area, the back, of course the front. I seldomly include the thighs or the arms. I try not to check the thighs because there are always issues. And then this fat is then processed.
What kind of issues?
A lot of dimpling, a lot of unevenness for arms. So I always tell my patients, you know, it's the last resort for thyroid control in this liposuction, unless they are really, really fat and they are trying to achieve, you know, slender thighs. You know, skinny people, I tell them to stay away because those are the most difficult people to do surgery on. Because if you are not careful, you will cause more damage or more unevenness than good. Okay. So once the fat is harvested, a patient is then turned. Fat is then injected into the buttocks, carefully placed to correct any asymmetries, any dimplings, and also to make it bigger. And of course, every patient is different. You know, so I always talk to my patients to make sure and to understand what they're actually looking for. Some people want just a top shelf. Some people want rounder butts. Some people want bigger hips. Everybody's different. So that's what a BBL is.
Okay, so let's talk about whether or not it can be reversed.
Okay, so you know, if you have liposuction, so let's start with liposuction. If somebody came and we remove all fat, it's not reversible. Over time, if you continue to eat and not exercise, you can get fat again. So that's not a big deal. People always ask, when you have liposuction in one particular area, does the fat go somewhere else? No. But you know, if you don't maintain your weight and you decide or you continue to gain more weight, disproportionately because we have reduced the fat content here. So for myself, when I see that I'm getting weight, my back start getting a little bigger, and when I see that, I will stop eating and intensify, my diet, or eat healthier. If you have a BBL and you think like your body's too big, we can do liposuction and remove some of that fat. Okay. If you have calf implants and you decide later I don't want my calf, we can go back and remove it. So implants are easier to correct. Okay. Because I can always go back and remove the implant, and you will get back to pretty much normal. Sometimes I might have to do a lift because of the fact that maybe the implant I've stretched the skin so much that if I take the implant out, you are going to have sagging breast, and we might have to do a lift. But if
you get a penis enlargement, are you able to reverse it?
Yes. So any implant that you place, you can.
What do you place in the penis to enlarge it?
Silicone. So silicone prosthesis, yeah. But it's not the gel type. It's more solid. Okay, and you insert it. And there are different types of implants, and some of it is also like breast implants. Okay, it's hooked onto a reservoir, which has fluid. So the fluid is then placed. The port where the fluid is stored is placed in the perineum. And then in between your scrotum and your anus. So that area. So all you do is go in and push a button, and your penis gets bigger. So that's for those people, for those men who cannot have erectile dysfunction. They can't get it up. So they push a button, and then all of a sudden their penis will just engorge, and they are ready to go.
I see. At what age, you say you've been doing this for so many years. At what age would you say it's advisable to get all of these or any of these cosmetic surgeries? Because we see a lot of really young people getting cosmetic surgeries these days. But I thought that it is when you see your boobs sag, then you can get, a breast augmentation or a boob lift or something.
So at what age? The legal age to have plastic surgery or to have any surgery on your own 2 feet, okay? Being able to consent for surgery in America is 18.
Okay.
And I probably think the same thing for Ghana. The voting age is 18, so so 18. I have done plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery on 15-year-olds, by their mother signing for it. I've done breast reduction. Breast reduction there's medically necessary breast reduction. There are women out there who have a lot of pain because their breasts are so big, okay? It causes back pain. It causes tingling in the hands. You get breast strap groovings where, you get, deepening. And then some of these women are getting rashes about 2 or 3 times a year underneath their breasts. That's medically necessary. So I had actually she was 14 years old. She couldn't fit into any of her clothes, okay? She's a cheerleader, and kids are very brutal. They made fun of her, and mom had to sign a consent, and I did a breast reduction.
Okay.
I have a patient that I just did a rhinoplasty, a nasal reshaping. She's 17. She had a hump. She had also a broken nose, and I corrected it, but mom had to sign off to give me consent to do the surgery.
But I asked you about the age because I want to find out if there's a correlation between the age of one getting a surgery and the success of it. So if you're young, is the success rate high? Are the complications high or low compared to if you're old? I don't know if you get what I mean.
I understand. Yeah. So age does not correlate. Has not much correlation with outcomes. Okay. Of course, the older you are, the older you are, or the unhealthier that you are, okay, the more complications are bound to happen.
Okay.
So far as the person is healthy, okay, most people will get good outcomes. So, yes, a 78-year-old woman having a tummy tuck and a 24-year-old woman having a tummy tuck, the 24-year-old will probably bounce back because they are younger. But, if you look at the median age or the 25th to 75th percentile, I think most people would do well in that age range. But of course, the advanced age, which is but there are 78-year-olds who have really good health, or who are in great health, better health than most 24-year-olds, because they have taken better care of themselves. Of course, diseases also slow down healing, diabetes, high blood pressure, the likes of, blood dyscrasia, sickle cell, all those things can impact your healing process. So we have to screen every single patient to make sure that they meet the criteria to have surgery.
Okay. I mean, initially or some years ago, you didn't see a lot of Ghanaian women or African women want to get these cosmetic surgeries, but over the years, there's been an increase.
But you know why, right?
Why?
Social media. Now, social media, access to the internet, the Kardashians, the shows, TV shows, because we were not privy to it. It's the same thing in America. When Dr. 90210 became a show in America, we saw the rise in plastic surgery. Now people knew about it. They were educated. They saw it. They wanted to have it. And then they made, they made way. They find a way to save up and have plastic surgery. It's the same thing that we see. But now, so many girls are showing their bodies on Instagram. Ghanaian girls have access to Instagram just like American girls. And everybody wants to look good. And that's the drive. That's the reason why there has been an uptick of cosmetic surgery all over the globe. And it's not just Ghanaian girls. All over Africa.
All over.
Yeah, all over.
Would you say, I mean, I see a lot of pictures. They look beautiful, and I wish I had that kind of body. But would you attribute the rise to it to insecurities? Or just the love for it?
No, I mean, of course, it's not so much insecurity. If a person knows that, hey, you know what, I can have breast augmentation and my boobs will get better, I don't think they're insecure. If there is a way, okay, they will find it, and they know there is a way. But of course, social media has now also done justice for them, because social media actually make people feel insecure. And I always tell patients that, do you know that person? People will bring photographs and say, oh, I want to look like, I want to have boobs like that, I want to have butt like this. I said, have you ever seen this person in real life? They said, no. I said, okay, they don't believe that, because you understand Photoshop. Okay, they have all these apps, where they can take a picture of their waist, slim down their waist, and make their butt bigger. Okay, so not all of these girls that you see on Instagram have had surgery. Some of it, they are just having surgery through their phone. Okay,
right. So, I mean, let's go back to the surgery room. If you prepare patients for surgery, say a BBL, how long does it usually take, or a breast augmentation or implant?
So breast augmentation is probably the most common. I mean, it's not probably. It is the most common #1 surgery performed. Okay, it takes a good surgeon should not take more than 1 hour to perform breast augmentation. It is that
really?
quick. Yeah, it takes me about 40 minutes to do breast augmentation. Bilateral breast augmentation. For breast reduction, about 3 hours. Breast lift, the same thing, 2.5 to 3, depending on how much tissue or how much volume we start with. Tummy tucks takes about 2.5 hours. Liposuction depends on what we are doing. You're doing 360, which means the front, the back, the sides, 2.5 hours. If you do a BBL, maybe 3.5. That's another half to it. So it's very safe. Plastic surgery is very safe in the right, on the right person, in the right hands. Meaning, in the right, the right surgeon is performing the surgery.
Okay. Yes. Speaking of right surgeon performing the surgery, I mean, we have seen pictures on social media. Some look really nice. Some don't look too good. Okay. They don't look proportionate. But then it comes back to a good surgeon. Do you know? I don't know if you're practicing in Ghana or you intend to. Do you intend to? Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Do you know any plastic surgeon or cosmetic surgeon in Ghana?
I know.
Where are they?
I know 2 great plastic surgeons in Ghana. Dr. Hoyt Williams in Kumasi and Dr. Charles Asiadu at Rich. I know both of them. They are great surgeons.
Right. Yeah. How do you know that this is a great surgeon? So I can trust him or her with my body?
The standards are very different. Okay, so I will speak for America. Okay, when I'm giving seminars, when I'm talking to patients, I always tell patients that make sure your plastic surgeon is board certified by the American Board of Plastic Surgery. There is only one board that certifies plastic surgeons in America, and that's the American Board of Plastic Surgery. So anybody who's board certified, the system has done such a great job. So to be able to distinguish the people who are truly qualified to perform the surgery versus the people who are not qualified. Don't get me wrong, not everybody who is board certified is a great surgeon, but at least they meet the minimal standard, or the minimal standard for safety. Okay? For safety, which is the ultimate goal. You don't want to have surgery and die. But anybody who's board certified has gone through a process, has been properly trained, which means they have done a minimum of 3 years of general surgery and a minimum of 2 years of plastic surgery after medical school. Okay? And they have been able to sit in front of their peers and be able to talk about surgery in an intelligible way, in a safe way, that their peers say, you know what, we trust you, you can do surgery on me. Okay, that's part of the process. So for me to be board certified, I had to do, 5 years of plastic surgery, sit for the exam. There are two components. You have a written exam and an oral exam. And if you pass all these, you become board certified. Okay? Most hospitals in the United States will not give you hospital privileges, which means they will not allow you to have surgery if you don't have the proper training. And if you are not board certified after an X amount of years after leaving your training post. Okay? I don't know the conditions and the requirements in Ghana, but make sure that your doctor is actually a surgeon. I know that Ghana, pretty much anybody can do surgery, okay, and even in hospitals because of the shortage of surgeons. So Ghanaian doctors, from my understanding, are trained when they get out of training, they would call it housemanship, or they do 2 years where they spend the time. So I know a lot of general practitioners who can do things like hernia repair because that's part of their training.
Yeah.
In the United States, it's very different, okay? After your 2 years of training, you can't do anything. You cannot set up a shop. You can't get a job anywhere. Nobody will hire you because you are not properly trained. So our complication rates or our adverse outcomes are minimized because of this selection. But Ghana is very different. But I know for a fact that Dr. Hoyt Williams is a plastic surgeon. I've been part of his journey from the get-go. In 2007, when we first met, when he was in training, and he took a liking towards plastic surgery, and now he has become one of the best surgeons I know. And he's not the chief of plastic surgery at Konfanoche. The same thing with Dr. Charles Asiedu, who is at Rich. I just met Dr. Asiedu, but he's a very competent surgeon. I've seen him operate in the operating room. And those are the two guys that I know in this country who do plastic surgery.
So as a plastic surgeon, when your patients or your clients come to you, do you advise them beyond what they want? So if I come and say that I want a job done on my nose or my butt, do you say that, look, it may not turn out nice, or you just go with whatever the patient wants?
No, it's not. That's part of the training process. It's called patient selection. Okay? If you came to me and you said, I want something done to my nose, and you are showing me something, if I cannot see it, okay, that means you are crazy. I'm crazy. So if I can't see the issue, we don't have a deal, okay? And, when it comes to butts, when people will come in and I say, okay, the way you are telling me or what you are telling me, I'm not going to be able to deliver. So, I have to have realistic expectations like we talked about. Patient goals, I have to be able to address them. And if I feel like the goals do not meet what I can offer them, then I cannot help them. And I'll turn them away. And it's not about money. I always say that for me to do surgery, the patient have to meet, there are 4 criteria that have to be met. I have to like you. You have to like me. You have to have realistic expectations. And you have to be able to afford me. And if you can check all these boxes, then I'm going to take you on as a patient.
Okay. So I'm still here with Dr. Michael Obeng. If you have any questions, and there are several questions for you on Facebook.
Sure.
Someone wants to find out if you can fix the voice of someone? Can you operate on them to make them sound a certain way?
Yes,
really?
Can. Yes, you can. So,
did you fix your voice?
No.
Because someone says you have a very good voice.
Oh,
did you fix it?
Thank you very much. Now,
can you fix anyone's voice to sound like yours?
No, I don't do that surgery, okay? But when we shave them the Adam's apple for transgender, especially a man transitioning to become a woman, okay, I do shave it down. But if you are not careful and you detach the vocal cords, they are going to sound funny. There is a doctor in Beverly Hills who do surgeries on a lot of music, a lot of singers. Okay, they go see him to make sure that their voice is fine. So that surgery is there, but I don't do that type of surgery. I
see. There's pretty much surgery for everything.
There's surgery for everything.
Okay, we have just a couple of minutes to go, but
sure.
We're going to talk about you. I want to find out why you are not practicing in Ghana. I'm sure you know that there are so many people who love you in Ghana, and if you decide to set up a hospital here, I mean, so many people won't have to travel to the US, to Turkey, to Colombia, to wherever to get their surgeries done. Why? Why don't you want to practice here? Why aren't you practicing here? That's the question.
Because I have a practice in Beverly Hills. Like, I have 6 children. My family.
It's better than practicing better than
my family, my friends, everybody is there. Okay. Yes, I'm from Ghana, but my roots, my base is in LA. It's in Los Angeles. It's just a matter of time. I think as my children get a little older, I might be able to get away more and spend more time. But it's something that we are talking about it. The last 3 days, we've had a lot of conversations about opening up a satellite clinic in Ghana. But the unfortunate part is, even if we set up this clinic, I can staff the clinic. I can bring high quality plastic surgery, people that I trust to come work, but I can't be here every single day, and if I decide to even set up shop in Ghana, it's probably going to be maybe every 2 months that I'll come spend 2 weeks. But, this is something that I'm still debating. I'm still talking about with people to find out the best solution to be able to have more of a presence in Ghana.
Okay. What are some of the projects that you're working on personally?
So personally, my goal is to be able to make affordable drugs, to set up a pharmaceutical company. And even though I came here on a family trip and it turned out to be a little bit more work because I was on my way. I was supposed to be coming through Ghana to go to Gabon. I'm supposed to be in the operating room today in Gabon doing surgery. But because of the Delta variant, we had to cancel that trip. So this trip then turned from family to work. Okay, we just secured land in Akwemu, 100 acres of land to build a first-class pharmaceutical plant that meets GMP standards. So that's one of my projects. And
why a pharmaceutical company?
Because I've seen the devastation of fake drugs, importation of fake drugs on the continent. Okay, my grandmother died. My biological mother died early, and my grandmother, I don't know if the medications back then was working, but it wasn't my idea. But one of my younger brothers brought it to me. I did the research. I felt like there was a need. And as a healthcare consultant and a global health strategist, like I like to call myself, I think it's time that, we as Africans, make our own drugs. I know there are about 16 great pharmaceutical companies in Ghana. What we are trying to do is something that's going to blow everybody's mind, world class. And of course, living in the era of pandemics, thinking about adding a vaccine center to be able to produce vaccines, because as we know, the vaccination rate has not gone very well in Africa. Okay. Ghana is probably one of the leading countries, if you take out South Africa, with 2.1% vaccination rate compared to almost 50% in the United States and almost 30% in the UK. So we have a lot of catching up to do, and it's become a passion. And of course, I think it also fits into my agenda of a healthy nation is a wealthy nation, being able to produce drugs by Africans for Africans.
Okay. Very interesting questions. Someone wants to find out how many cosmetic surgeries you have done personally.
Personally, just liposuction.
Just liposuction.
Yeah, just liposuction. Everything else from God.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have to let you go. He has to catch a flight. But I promise to bring him back so we have a more extended conversation. But before you do, someone is asking a question about, oh, no, this doctor is not related to... No, he is Dr. Obeng. I mean...
What?
It's someone is asking if you're related to Dr. Obeng, but you are not, are you? You know him? You know of him?
I've heard of him.
You've heard of him?
I've heard of him. I've heard of him. I don't personally know him.
We'll leave it there. Okay. Yeah, so I said, I'm going to bring him back. I promise to bring him back. If he decides to come back, it will be great to have you again, to have a more extended conversation. But someone is asking about stealing of organs. I understand in some surgeons steal organs when you're getting your cosmetic surgery.
Where is this at Turkey? No, I'm just no. It's not. You know, that's why you need to go to approved facilities. Okay.
But does it happen?
Have never. This is the first time. This is the first time I've ever heard of it. But organs being stolen, yes, I've heard about it. Okay. I've heard about it in countries like Turkey and some other countries, but you just have to be very careful. You know, don't go somewhere where they overpromise. Okay, if it sounds too good to be true, then it's not true. But in my realm, what I've heard, or what I've witnessed, and what I've been around, that I've never heard of such a thing. Today is the first time I've heard that people are stealing organs having cosmetic surgery. But I won't put it past the greedy world that we live in. But not in America. In America, I can vouch. It would never happen there.
Yeah?
Yes.
Do I qualify for surgery, a cosmetic surgery?
It depends on what type of surgery.
We'll talk about that later. Not on TV. Thank you so much for coming, Dr. Michael Kwame Obeng.
Yeah.
He's a global health strategist. I want to call you that as well because that's what you... And I think you fit perfectly into that. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're hoping and looking forward to you having or opening up your own clinic here in Ghana.
Maybe very soon. Very
soon. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And we wish you the very best.
Bye-bye.
Now, before he leaves, do you want to track your health and stay fit? Do you want to answer calls, check notifications, listen to music from your watch? Well, do it the smart way with a smartwatch. You can check your calories, your blood pressure, your heart rate, and even your cycle on the go. You can get all of that at the convenience of a quality smartwatch without paying too much. Now, here's how you can do that. Next is a Ghanaian-owned UK company. They're partnering with Buy Now, Pay Later to introduce the next smartwatches and Bluetooth devices at very affordable prices. You can visit Next Global on Instagram or call 0240-910-787. They deliver same day in Accra, in Tema, Kaswa, Koforidua, and Kumasi, and they do nationwide delivery as well. Don't forget to visit the Next Global on Instagram or call them on 0240-910-787. There's so many questions for Dr. Obeng, but it's too early for some of the questions that you're asking. Too early. But I will try and get him to have a conversation with me on Instagram Live one of these weekends so we can answer those questions. But it's definitely too early, and this is television for some of the questions that you're asking. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly after the break with Wake Up to Money.
Goodness of malt, milk and cocoa in Milo, and even more milk. Just add to water and enjoy the perfect cup of winning energy.
Milo! Milo! This advertisement has been